The crystalline chambers of the Galactic Council had never witnessed such silence. Ambassador Naz Chen stood at the central podium, her dark eyes scanning the assembled representatives of 47 species. The weight of humanity's future, and, perhaps the galaxy's, rested on her shoulders. "Esteemed delegates," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustic dampeners. "For 3 cycles, we have discussed the Vorthan threat with committees, subcommittees, and endless diplomatic protocols while we debate entire star systems burn." The Altarian delegate, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell, pulsed with agitation. "Ambassador Chen, the Council has always resolved conflicts through peaceful negotiation. War is the way of primitives." Naz's expression remained calm, but those who knew her well would have recognized the steel in her gaze. Behind her, William Torres, her military attaché, stood motionless in his crisp uniform. The young human had seen the Vorthan horrors firsthand during the evacuation of New Jakarta. "Peaceful negotiation," Naz repeated slowly. "Tell that to the 17 million civilians who died when the Vorthans glassed the Kepler 442 colonies. Tell that to the children of Proxima Station who suffocated in the void when the Vorthans destroyed their life support, rather than accept their surrender." A ripple of unease passed through the chamber. The aquatic Nereid representative bubbled nervously in her containment tank, while the insectoid hive speaker clicked its mandibles in what might have been disapproval. "The humans speak of war as if it were inevitable," wheezed the ancient keeper of memories, his forearms gesturing dismissively. "But we have maintained peace for 12,000 years. Surely accommodation can be reached with the Vorthans." William stepped forward slightly, his hand resting on the data tablet containing intelligence reports that would haunt his dreams forever. He had been the one to compile the evidence. The systematic extermination campaigns, the experimentation on captured civilians, the Vorthon philosophy that viewed all other species as inferior breeding stock. Naz raised her hand, and the chamber's holographic display activated. Images filled the air, burned worlds, refugee ships overcrowded beyond capacity, the twisted remnants of what had once been thriving colonies. "The Vorthons do not seek accommodation," she said, her voice growing stronger. "They seek dominion, complete absolute dominion. And while you debate the ethics of resistance, they continue their advance toward the core worlds." The Centaurian delegate, his blue skin pale with concern, spoke up. "But Ambassador, your species has been part of the Council for less than 2 centuries. How can you understand the complexities of galactic politics that we have maintained for millennia?" This was the moment Naz had prepared for. She had spent months studying not just the current crisis, but the entire history of the Galactic Council. She knew their weaknesses, their fears, and most importantly, their blind spots. "You speak of 12,000 years of peace," she said, pulling up historical data on the display. "But how many species have simply disappeared during that time? The Trilaxians, the Omega Collective, the first children of Andromeda. When they faced extinction, did they receive council intervention? Or were they quietly erased from the records to maintain your perfect peace?" The chamber erupted in shocked whispers in alien languages. William allowed himself a small smile. Naz had done her homework. The hive speaker's clicking grew agitated. "Those species faced natural disasters, internal conflicts. The Vorthans," Naz interrupted, her voice cutting through the noise like a blade, "use the same tactics now that destroyed those lost civilizations. Systematic infiltration, technological sabotage, and when resistance becomes impossible to ignore, total annihilation." She turned to face the assembled delegates directly. "The difference is that humanity will not go quietly into extinction. We will not wait for your committees to decide our fate while our children are harvested for Vorthan experiments." The silence that followed was deafening. The energy being that served as council chairman flickered with uncertainty. "Ambassador Chen, are you threatening to act unilaterally?" "No," Naz replied, her voice carrying across the chamber with absolute certainty. "I am offering you a choice. For the first time in 12,000 years, you have an ally willing to fight for not just their own survival, but for the survival of everything you claim to protect." William activated his own display, showing tactical assessments and fleet compositions. The human military stands ready to coordinate with any council species willing to defend their territory. We have technologies and strategies the Vorthons haven't encountered. But we need partners, not just observers. The ancient keeper of memories leaned forward, his multiple eyes focusing on the data. Your species numbers barely 200 billion across 57 worlds. What could you possibly offer against a force that has consumed entire galactic arms? Niaz smiled for the first time since entering the chamber, and it was neither warm nor comforting. It was the smile of a predator that had cornered its prey. We offer something this council has forgotten, she said. We offer the willingness to fight, to bleed, to die if necessary. Because we understand something you've lost in 12 millennia of peace. Some things are worth fighting for. She gestured to William, who activated the final display. Ships began appearing on the hologram, not the sleek, artistic vessels, favored by most council species, but brutal, efficient war machines bristling with weapons and armor. The time for committees has ended, Naz declared. The Vorthons will reach the core worlds within 6 months. You can join us in stopping them, or you can draft another resolution while your worlds burn. But humanity will fight, with or without you. As she stepped down from the podium, the chamber remained silent. But in that silence, William could hear something that had been absent from these halls for centuries, the sound of resolve being born. The age of endless negotiation was ending. The age of human determination had begun.